This tune is so popular that it doesn't really need any introduction at all. But if you don't know Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, here's an opportunity to get really acquainted with it in this set of variations, which is absolutely beautiful. The whole set is really beautiful. It's much harder than grade 5 as a set, but all that's required for grade 5 is the theme, variation 1 and variation 5. So that's what I'm going to be looking at now. Let's start off with the theme. It's very simple. It's just in crotchets the whole way through, with one little minim at the end and one somewhere in the middle, but basically very squarely written. Don't do the repeat. Breathe. Now, there's so much that you can do with this in terms of touch and articulation. I was playing the left hand a little bit more legato than my right. Because I've got repeated notes, obviously there's going to be a little bit of a gap between the repeated notes. The turn, I know it's a little naughty, but I think it works nicely before the beat. Normally we'd put ornaments on the beat. That, which you could do, but most people are doing that. Which I think works very elegantly. So if the right hand's somewhat detached, not short, perhaps half length or maybe even 3/4 length. Not this, but and the problem with repeated notes is that they can end up sounding very mechanical. Don't forget to give the line some shape. The A is probably your highest point, and then do you notice how I'm giving a little bit of a diminuendo as I go down there? So some shaping of the line. Now the left hand, I personally like to play it a bit more legato because there's harmony there. You'll notice that I ended with a little bit of articulation just at the cadence point, just to add a little elegance to that. But I'm interested in what's going on in the tenor part of the left hand. E, F, E, at that point, and then maybe a little bit more angular. And you're probably thinking, are you allowed to do that? Are you allowed to hold on to notes longer? Well, yes, we are. In this period of music, composers couldn't write all of the subtleties of touch that later composers from later periods tended to do. So the notation is fairly simple, but we're allowed to overlap a little bit and then underlap, in other words, to play shorter. Feel how that gives nice variety. Otherwise it would be very boring if I did this. Although you could certainly do that if you wanted to. You'd have to give it quite a lot of character. Explore, see what it is, see what sound you like.